Hi, I'm Batsa and I've been playing a lot of Pax Dei since it came out in early access. In this video I'm going to do a complete guide for the Zebeum Plison dungeon. I plan to do guides for all 4 of the big dungeons, with the release coming in the near future, but I haven't done the Pelepis and Ambolon dungeons in a long time, so it may be a while until I make a guide on those 2 dungeons. I'll be using the database website to check the loot you get in the dungeon, and Potato Gems maps for showing the dungeon layout. Links to those websites are in the description. This dungeon has some of the best sigils that drop from named enemies, both for armor and weapons. The amount of tattered sigils and crimson ornate cliches you get per hour is average. There are better dungeons to get those items, Duralisten for the sigils and Pelepis for the crimsons. It takes 36 to 60 minutes to do a lap in the dungeon. If you have a large group you could do it faster, but the loot piles reset every 36 minutes and they're very lucrative now since you get a large amount of gold from them, plus a chance to get the tattered sigils and crimson leashes. So if you do manage to complete the lap faster, it's better to wait a few minutes before continuing, so you could loot all the loot piles in the next round. The notable armor pieces you can make from the sigils from this dungeon are Ruler's Pauldron, a plate shoulders with Pacify 3, the Curated Desire, which has the Radiant Man 2 spell, the AoE heal, which is the highest rank of the spell available in the game currently. We have also Cap of Gaping Wounds, which gives the highest rank of Divine Remedy, the single target heal, Bale Mail's Charming Robe with Mesmerize 3 and more importantly an amazing look, and Arms of Andrena with Blessed Renewal 3, a single target heal of a time spell. For weapons, you can get several relics which are used to make high tier on hit effects like Seeker, which reduces the enemy's armor, the Hurt, which can stun enemies, and Blazing Viper, which deal fire and poison damage respectively and can apply a damage over time effect. And for loot piles, we have 6 of them in this dungeon, with 2 of each kind, the regular loot pile, interesting loot pile, and magnificent loot trove. The dungeon is located in northwestern Meri, not too far away from the Pilgrim Grate, which leads to the east of Ancien. So depending on your home valley location, it can take quite a lot of time to get there. I hope that when we will get Grace in the next update, we will be able to teleport to each home valley using Grace, thus saving a lot of time. The way leading from the Pilgrim's Gate to the dungeon is quite dangerous, with many high-level enemy NPCs, but if you come from Uleid in the east, it is much safer. I already made a video about dungeons in the past, link is in the description, so I'm mostly going to talk about the specific experience in Plison and not a general dungeon guide. I'll be showing footage from a run we had there recently. The footage is from my stream, so some of it is at a lower level video quality compared to a recording. I apologize for that. And this next part of the video won't be edited, it will be just me commentating on the run. I will be referring to Consecrated Ground as SC, since I will be mentioning it a lot. I actually was a naughty boy and I looted some enemies even though I wasn't supposed to. In my defense, I missed the part when we said that only one person in each group is allowed to loot. We did it so we could split the gold evenly at the end of the run. We still used the wall tactic with the person with the Consecrated Ground standing behind it. Let's now switch to the dungeon footage to see how it went. Okay, so now we are at the beginning of the dungeon and let's switch to the map for a second. I'll show you where we are. So we are at the entrance and we'll be moving this way, to the right, and to the first loot pile. Now keep in mind that we'll be ending the run in this loot pile location, and when we'll be doing a new lap, we'll be jumping from here to here. So this small part of the start of the dungeon we won't be doing again, only the first time. Okay, so let's go back to the footage and see. So as you can see, we still use the Consecrated Ground and the wall tactic. And I'm the one, as I said, that I'm doing the pulls. And there are a few melee guys in here. And you know what? Let's switch to X speed. Where is it? 1.5. 2. Okay. So now I pulled another melee guy, and then I did a mistake. There's a caster up here to the right, and I should have pacified him, and I didn't. So now I messed him, and I just told the group, come, we'll just deal with these enemies the old-fashioned way, just kill them without any tactics. Just smash them without the CG. And that's what we did. And we killed this Mauler as well. And I believe there's some one more melee guy here. Yeah, there's another Mauler. And we killed him. And at this point, I'll be switching to the last lap we did, because it went much smoother and much faster. But I'll switch to the exact time. We make a CG at this doorway and tell people to go there. And now, one of these cormorants is the placeholder for a named, the first named of this dungeon, which is the Kabada's Craving, which drops the Sigil of Kabada. That used to make the Cruelty Desire. It's a cloth chest with the Radiant Main 2, the AoE heal, and most importantly, it does a 1 tick at the beginning, 22 health for rank 1 and 30 for rank 2. So it's a very good spell, and 2 is the highest rank of this spell. There isn't currently Radiant Man 3. But we, as you can see, we didn't get that name this time. So we kill these melee guys. Guys, enemies, whatever. Then I'm going to pull these 2 skin dancers, and one of these is also a placeholder for a named, which is the Hive Tender Ladonia, which drops the Sigil of Archon, and that is used to make the Ruler's Pauldron, which is a plate shoulder with Pacify 3. It's a fantastic spell that I'm currently even been using this in the dungeon. But the problem with it, it is level 47 armor smithing to craft, so you can fail even at level 40 armor smithing. I luckily got mine on the first try, but I know many other people failed and wasted a lot of tattered sigils. Yeah, but the look of it is not as good as it was in the previous patch. It's a bit annoying. Okay, let's just show. Skin Dancer, the Caster, Skin Dancer, and Hierophants usually don't teleport. So move to the side, so if they cast, they won't cast it into the people and get healed and leave a debuff. And now there's only one imp that we just going to deal with. And then we're going for a short swim for the first loot pile. And there are 2 imps on the way, it's not an issue. Just can kill them. It's only a normal loot pile, but it's still good to get. And so now we are here, as I said. So we are going back, and we go into this corridor, and then we're going to this second loot pile. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, moving right. And right again. Put in another CG on the ground. I'm going to pull some enemies. Just a Mauler. Mauler, Cormorant, Esoteric of Zeb, and a Cannibal Champion, all melee guys. If you, I don't know if you catched it, but I pacified the Skin Dancer on the right, where the worm is. And I brought these melees to the wall. And now I tell everyone to follow, just kill with this Skin Dancer, just deal with them in melee. It's usually the best way to do it. Now we're continuing down the hall. There are a few... I believe summoners and some melee guys in this corridor. So first I pull the Mauler, the melee, and then we have these 2 summoners, the cultivators. So I pacify them both and brought the other 2 cormorants from the left to the wall. And now we're going to deal with these cultivators in melee range. So as you know, they keep summoning imps until they die. So we need to deal with them swiftly, otherwise the imps can overwhelm your group a bit. Okay, so now as I also placed a consecrated ground and I went in here. I think there are imps or hellions, so let's see if there are imps or hellions in here. Yeah, hellions, bloated hellions. Okay. And there's a loot pile, so just killing all these Hylians around, so it's safe to go to the loot pile. This one is also a normal loot pile. And now the other people are following me. Okay, so let's go back to the map. So now we're here, so we're going back. And we go this way, right and right. Sorry for the bad drawing. And then we go here. Okay, and by the way, here there's a drop to the right and it actually takes you here. But let's do it in a bit. Let's just show you this next part of the dungeon. With also a few placeholders for the named. So yeah, another CG, another wall. Pacify the skin dancer to the left. Pulling the enemies. And one of these cormorants is another placeholder for named. It is for the Duralisten Cutler, which drops the sigil of Duralisten. Even though it's Plison dungeon, not Duralisten, but okay. And it used to make the Cutler Sharp Ire, which is a plate head with Fury 2. Which is a spell that generates threat and restores stamina, but it's really bad. It's a really bad item at its current stage. No one is using the Fury spell. It's pretty useless until they change it, I guess. So, same tactic. Put enemies to the wall, the melee ones, and kill them, then dealing with the skin dancers. And now we come to the stairs. And there are a few enemies here. I believe they are skin dancers. And one of the skin dancers is also a placeholder for the next named. Yeah, we didn't get many this time. They'll have 18% chance to spawn. Although they can spawn in a couple sometimes as two named. And this one is a placeholder for the Temple Dispenser, which drops the Majestic Sigil of Troms, which is a Chainman Helm. And it has the Divine Remedy 4, which is the single target heal, the highest level of it. And I'm using it as well on my first spell, Keybind Control 1 is the Divine Remedy 4 that I'm using and wearing. So I just pacified one, I messed the other, and I told the group to come and deal with those. Yeah, ask them to wait until it's a bit further up, so I won't pull the guy and other enemies from down. Now the enemies at this part are somewhat bugged. They kinda get stuck there. Sometimes. Yeah, you see I tried to pull, but it didn't succeed. So we need to kill those in melee, but be careful since as you see, down to the right on the stairs there are a few other enemies, so be careful not to pull those when you're at this part of the dungeon. So we dealt with those up the stairs, and now there are 3 melee guys at this part. Yeah, see, sometimes they are teleporting. And over here there are some wolves. Sometimes these wolves get like bugged and they're not moving, not attacking, so we need to go down and kill them. But this time they actually moved. And there's one more wolf, struggler. And we deal with them swiftly, mostly because it's on 2x speed. And we have a couple more enemies in here. And then going to pull to the wall, and this cormorant got teleported, but we just killed them. So yeah, they get teleported if I'm too far away from the wall, but if I'm really far away, they won't be teleported. So we dealt with a skin dancer, and now I'm putting a CG in this doorway, and I'm pulling some animals from this corridor, a lot of cultivators, so trying to run away really far so they will reach the wall, but they won't be teleported to me. And that one got teleported, but it's fine. And I believe, yeah, I went to pull a few more. See, there is a Mauler, doesn't want to come, and another cultivator, yeah. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to jump down. And actually, when we jump down here to the right, it brings us to the main hall over here. Okay, so at this point, we are going to be here, kill these named or placeholders, and then we'll be moving across the water to this location. Now, there are a couple of patrolling casters down below that they haven't paid attention, and they were just down where I jumped, so I almost died. You can see this now, but I managed to maze both of them, and then we jumped down and healed, and I didn't die, even though even my potion was on cooldown and couldn't use it. But with some heals, we dealt with these two Hierophants in melee. Hierophants and Skin Dancers are both casters. Hierophants are the highest level ones. Now I pacified this Hierophant, and now usually we do CG and the wall facing the water, but since my CG was on cooldown, when I decided to pull to this location. By the way, there was this, we pulled 2 Esoterics of Zeb and 1 Cultivator, I believe. So that Cultivator is also a placeholder for a named, which is the Master of Wax, which drops the Majestic Sigil of Bilifor, which is the Wasp Master's Axe. Makes sense. It's a 200 axe with Seeker 4, the highest rank of it, and it decreases the armor of the enemies. Okay, so we dealt with those melee and with the Cultivator. And now I'm going back to the usual location. And it's actually the first named that spawned. And it's not a placeholder. So yeah, this is Webtender Nephila. It's actually a very good one. Majestic Archon. Majestic Sigil of Archon, which is used to make the Balemail robe. Balemail Charming robe, yeah. It's Mesmerize 3, the highest rank of it, but most importantly, as you know, as I showed before, it looks absolutely amazing. Probably the best piece of armor in the game in terms of looks. So we get it from this named. Okay, dealt swiftly with that one. And now I'm pulling some cultivators. Now, one of them is supposedly also a placeholder for a named, but I'm not sure if it was this group or the other one that is more to the right, which we skipped always on these 3 laps we did. So I'm not really sure, but probably people who are in there are experienced and they would have told me that we need to kill the other group. Because, you know, if I miss the placeholder for that named. So, but anyway, one of these is the placeholder for the Fidian Master, which drops the Majestic Sigil of Igurim, which is used to make the Jehan Stick of Pain. It's a one-handed mace with a Hurt 3, which has a 10% chance to stun enemies. By the way, the Hurt 2 is currently bugged. It's supposed to be 7.5% chance to stun, but it's actually 75. They missed the dot, so it stuns on almost every attack. It's pretty OP right now, but I believe it will be fixed soon. There are two weapons that have the Hurt 2. Okay, now we're moving back across the water, and there are a few patrols over here. 1 wolf, 1 caster that we're going to deal with soon. I'm telling the guys to come and kill this Hierophant. And now I'm going back to here, to these columns, and put in another CG. And since I reached the location on the map, let's go back. So now we are here. And from here we'll be going this way. Right here, now we can't pass here, so we'll be going into the water and up here and going back and going to the next loot pile. So let's check it out. Okay, in these columns people can stand like 2 in each column, even 1 is enough because the wolves are pretty big and they can't pass. They can teleport, as you can see, but they can't pass through even with only 1 guy in the wall. And now there's another enemy that I pulled from behind. He's patrolling, so just be careful because he may jump on you from the back. And there are a lot of wolves that I'm pulling right now. Bringing back to the wall, to the CG place. And we'll deal with these wolves. And after that, I believe we'll be moving forward. That one also teleported, stood on top of us. Now we're moving forward, and I'll put another CG and another wall. There is 2 more wolves in here. Yeah, 2 more wolves. And after that, I'll be pulling the imps and hellions from the next part of the dungeon. Imps first. Imps are really easy to kill. And the hellions now. Oh, doing well. This last lap was really smooth. I haven't died, and it was pretty fast. We did it in 40 minutes. The first one we did like an hour and died like 5 times. So now we jumped in the water. And let's pause for a second. So I can use spells. Everyone can use spells when they are swimming. I guess it's a bug that will get fixed. But there are a few enemies over here, including a caster, I believe, which is pretty dangerous. But I managed to get on this ledge and pacify the caster. So yeah, just be careful when you're going to this location, because there will be a caster right here. So I got on the ledge. I believe I pacified the caster, yeah. And then we all swam across and just killed the melee guys. I put another CG, and we had more of a clump than a wall, but it actually works perfectly fine. Now, one thing I want to mention, that this is a small area to the right where we didn't even go. And there should be another named over there, which is the... Let me check my notes over here. It is the Ambolon Surf, which drops the Siege of Ambolon. It's... what it's called? Head of Violent Misery. It's a leather helm with Fury 3, but as I told, Fury is a bad spell, so we skipped it. I didn't even know that there was a name there until I checked the map. So yeah, so now we just put in some more enemies from the left, and then we go in towards the loot pile. As I said, we didn't do this part of the dungeon before because there are no named. Well, there's one with a bad drop, but now we have that loot pile in the end. It is a magnificent, I believe, which is the highest level of loot pile. So yeah, I put the melee enemies, but this Hierophant was pacified, and now we killed them before the pacifier ran off, so it was pretty efficient. And now I'm going up the stairs, another CG. There are some more enemies here, some casters, some melee guys. We're dealing with this wolf over here, and that's all. There are 2 more casters next to the wall, next to the loot pile. We dealt with this esoteric. That one, I told them to deal with him while I pacified the last one. And once the group is done with those, they can move to these 2 Hierophants. Yeah, I'm looting. I'm not supposed to loot the enemies, but as I said, I didn't know the rules. Okay, so we got the loot from this magnificent loot trove. And let's go back to the map and see where we go from here. So from here, we jump down. We go back here. Then we go in here for this loot pile. And then we go back to here. Then we deal with these two rares. And then we are going back to the stairs. So let's watch this. So yeah, now we're moving back, and there's this enclosure with the many pigs and the named pig, boar, whatever, to the left. And I put a CG, and there's a wolf here. I'm sorry, not wolf, a pig. Vector, deadly vector. And there's also a patrolling caster that we're probably going to deal with soon. Now I'm going inside and I'm pull some of these piggies. Bring him back to the wall. They kinda attacked me and that one got teleported, but I survived. That's the important part. I haven't done this lap that I know, so at least I'm showing you the better part of the footage. Yeah, there's a wolf that's patrolling. So we dealt with the wolf. And then there's a caster that I thought let's just is pacified, so let's just deal with him and then go back to the loot pile. And I missed two of the last boars, including the named one, the Aper Magnus. And this one drops, let's see what it drops. Oh, it drops the Horstinger larvae, but it's an item that was removed from the game, so just be careful with this. I mean, the weapon that used to make was removed. Most of those actually don't drop, but this one does, so it's completely useless right now. So when you split in the loot, just remember that this Horstinger larva is not used for anything right now. Don't remember which kind of weapon it was. I think it was a spear, but I don't remember which effect. But anyway, it was removed. So this is the next loot pile. It's another magnificent one. Okay, now we're going back and we're going left. And we make a CG here. Just be careful, sometimes enemies are patrolling that can come from the stairs behind, so be really careful here. I died here a couple of times because of that. And yeah, so there's one imp, the other guys are just stuck in there dealing with some loot stuff, and me and Titus kill this imp while we are waiting for the other guys. Okay, now I'm going to pull from the area in front of us. So let's just pause for a second while I'm here. Okay. So we have here, we have two casters that I need to pacify, and one of them is a placeholder for a named. And that named is Mouth of Magalast, which drops the Majestic Sigil of Magalast, which is used to make the Mace of Dark Command, two-handed mace with Hurt 4. Which is the highest rank of the stun on hit effect. So really good one. But although, you know, as I said, I prefer to spend my majestic, tattered sigils on armor, not on weapons, because weapons break pretty fast when you actually use them. And well, you can see it here, but there are like two champions in front that, well, I'll continue the video. We'll be fighting them, but there are also Hellions on each side of the room, here and here. And on the left side over here, the Hellions. One of them is a placeholder for another named, which is the Lord's Emissary, which drops the Overbearing Soul Leash, which is used to make the Zebeum Final World, a one-handed sword with Blaze 4, which does fire damage and can put fire damage over time on the target. It's the highest rank, so it's a pretty good weapon. But we didn't get this name this time, only placeholders. So let's show you what's happening. Yeah, I pacified the two casters and I put both champions and the Hellions. From the left side, it's a bit, that one got teleported. It was kinda messy. I got a lot of hits to the face, but I managed to survive. And now I'm going to pull the Hellions from the right side, while these Hierophants are still pacified. Is it only one? Yeah, only one Hellion remaining. Oh yes, that one come from the back. Yeah, I believe it was patrolling, so just be careful. So now we're going to deal with these casters in melee. The pacifier almost ran out, so I mesmerized one of them and we just killed them in melee. And then we going back and up the stairs. So now let's pause it and let's go back to the map again. So we're here. From here, this takes it to here. So we'll be moving here, up the stairs, towards this hyperphagics and the next loot pile. Let's watch this. Okay. I pacified that Hierophant, and we killed them in melee, the usual way. As we call them, we call it Hug the Dancer, because usually it's Skin Dancer. Oh, it can be a Skin Dancer or a Hierophant, but that's the normal term. Hug the Dancer means just kill him. And then put in some melee enemies to the wall. And I'm actually going to try to pull the Hierophant. I don't know why, but I decided to pull them to the wall as well. Now he came, now we killed him. It's actually nice that they don't teleport. And now we're going up and putting a new consecrated ground on the floor. And we're going to deal with the enemies in here. So I pacified that one, I pacified that one. It was actually a melee one. And I'm bringing the melee guys to the wall, while the cultivator, the summoner, is still pacified. And there's an imp also that came from somewhere. And now we're going to, I think, melee kill this cultivator. If I manage to summon an imp. And then we put in a wall in this doorway. And dealing with the imps, and I believe also Hellions in this part. So imps, and now I'm going to pull the Hellions. And as you can see, we actually got the name this time, the Hyperphagics. Let's see what it drops. It drops the Bulgent Spirit Leash, which is used to make the Hyperphagic Axe. It's a two-handed axe with Seeker 3, which decreases the armor of the enemies. But there's a Seeker 4 that I mentioned before, so it's not the highest rank of this axe. I'm sorry, of this spell. On hit effect, to be more correct. So we dealt with those, and now I'm going to check that it's safe. And we can do not loot pile. It's an interesting loot pile, so the medium quality. Okay, so let's go back to the map. So we're now here, and we're going back through here. And this is the last part. We're going here to the right, right here, and to the last loot pile. And as I said, from here, we're going to jump down to here if we're going to do another lap. So let's check this part out. Okay, the guys actually came from the right, and they should be, where they are coming from the doorway, there should be an imp that maybe they killed, or I'm not really sure, but there should be another named over there, which is, let me check my notes. It's Psychopantomagallast, which drops a Loud Spirit Leash, which is used to make the Magalite Sycophant's Great Axe, two-handed axe with Blaze 3, weapon that applies fire damage and can cause the enemy to take a fire damage over time effect. So That's the name we got. I didn't get over there. So now we just killing more enemies, dealt with the Hierophant in melee, another CG, another wall. You know the drill by now. Pacified the Hierophant, bringing a champion to the wall. Champion are the highest level enemies. They're pretty tough to kill. They have the most HP and yeah, and also physical resistance. So now I believe I pulled the cultivators, yeah, the summoners. Let's see if those are named or not yet. Those are not placeholders for named enemies. They're just normal enemies. No, the placeholders are also normal enemies, but you know what I mean. Okay. Bringing these champions to the ball. One got teleported, but I moved to the other side. It's fine. The cultivator that just went back, so I told the group, let's just follow and let's kill him. Kill the intervention first. And now, as you can see, there's a cultivator and there's a champion in here. So this champion is a placeholder for another named, which is the Supplicant Andrena, which drops the Majestic Sigil of Flammarion, which used to make the Arms of Andrena. It's a Plate Bracers, which has the Blessed Renewal 3 spell. It's a heal over time, but unfortunately it doesn't stack with the Radiant Mend, so, and it doesn't have any initial heal, so it's kinda bad. But it actually looked nice. I showed this piece in my video about the armor progression. One of the guys here was specifically for this armor piece, and we didn't get it named in any of the 3 laps we did. Okay, let's continue watching. We are almost at the end now, as you can probably guess. And another CG, another wall, another pull, pacify the cormorants, and there are 2 more cormorants in here, and this is the last placeholder for named. It is a placeholder for the Roach Tender, which drops the Majestic Sigil of Dimirag, which is used to make the Roach Tender sticker. It's a one-handed spear with the Viper's 3, which is similar to the Blaze, but it is poison, so it applies poison damage and can put a poison damage over time on the target. But we didn't get them as well. So I'm pulling now these last 3 enemies to the wall. And now there's only 1 caster remaining and the loot pile. So we just deal with the caster. I actually got the debuff, so I couldn't loot this loot pile until the debuff ran off. So this is an interesting loot pile, and this is the end of the run. So at this point we usually take maybe a couple of minutes break if people need some break. And also at the end of the run, it's here when we divide the loot. And we divide the Tartared equally, and then we divide the name sigils and Crimson Honor cliches and maybe some other stuff like jewelry items. And that's pretty much it. But if you want to see how we go from here, so it should be right here. And when we go jump down, so we need to like pacify or mesmerize the enemies down, just drop down, heal the enemies in here. I pulled those from the back, although we didn't need them, just maybe for some loot, but we didn't need to kill them. And now going back the stairs and the same, so you already showed this part of the dungeon, it's the start, so don't need to see it again. And well, that's mostly it for this part of the video. So yes, thank you for watching. Obviously this part was not edited, I recorded it in 1 take, so I apologize for my mumbling mistakes, whatever, but you know, it is what it is. So let's go back to the end of the video now. Okay, this was a bit different from my other videos, but I think that this format works well for the dungeon guides. As I said, I will be making a Duralism guide soon, but the other dungeon guides will come at a later date. By the way, I have over 11k gold now. I haven't been selling or buying. All the gold is from the NPCs I killed. This is the end of this long video. You can check my other videos on this channel, like the ones popping on the screen now. Check the description below for some useful Pax Dei links and also links to my Twitch and my second YouTube channels. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.